This week on Hermitcraft.
Please never leave me again.
We are gathered here today to mourn the loss of Moses the Pet Rock.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is Pixel Riffs, our writer is LoyXP, and last week we started a public Discord server all of our own. Hit up the link in the description to join, have a chat with fellow Hermitcraft fans, and maybe even help out with the next Hermitcraft Recap episode, like Prog Rocker, Eliad654, and River Plasma Hero did for this very episode. No patronage or donations are necessary, just click the link and join the fun. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Iskal, who was a little swamped at his base this week. After making the convex mad by completely ignoring the book telling him to visit the cathedral and offer tribute, they turned on a giant tap inside his factory and burst the banks of his green goo lake. It even runs down into the ocean and pollutes about half of the nearby bay. Like most convex pranks though, it ends up looking so good that Iskal decides to keep most of it.
I guess this is where they were enjoying the beachfront. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I have no freaking clue what that is. Oh my goodness. I wonder if they have lights in this, if there's like glowstone anywhere. Otherwise, this is a good spawning point. What's going on with the orange and the white? Is that like a caution block thing that they've done?
It also prompts him to do something about the factory, although instead of installing some safety measures, he redesigns it into an altar with a giant Sims crystal on top. Maybe now it'll get a job, or at least a flatmate. As a warning against future Vex pranks, Iskal builds essentially a giant Vex scarecrow, an effigy which he plans to completely drown in slime. Needless to say, Cubfan is not impressed.
We gotta defend this place, man. We gotta defend this place, and I think I have the perfect solution to this.
Still, in a preventative measure, the Vex heads trap a Vindicator right at the entrance into their headquarters and even name tag him the Swede Slayer just to get their message across. So you'd better stay away from their security guard, unless you have a boat or something.
Hey, Swede Slayer. He's gonna check you at the door. Boom, you're good to go. But yeah, Iskal, he's not gonna let Iskal through. No way.
Here's a business opportunity. Not only can he be security officer of the building, but he could sell tickets in case we come upon hard times. He could sell trampoline tickets. Hermit comes up here. I'm here for my trampoline time. Grab a ticket, jump on the trampoline.
2 more memento rooms are filled this week at Cub's base. One for the NHO kerfuffle, and another for that time Cub got everything there is to get in the game. The base itself is covered even more profoundly in giant flowers that glow in the night. Of course, being a nerd of intergalactic scale, Cub can't not dedicate basically a whole episode to SpaceX's latest shenanigans, so the Falcon Heavy launch gets some intense coverage in his videos, plus Cub puts a car into his Cub hub roughly on the Earth's orbit.
The next Ask Jarvis question is, will I fly to the moon this episode? It shall be so, and it will be so.
Then again, Jarvis is a bit of a cheater lately, seeing as how he straight up lies about Mumbo Jumbo being the one who pranked Cub's face map and drew a gold tooth on it. Good for you, Jarvis. Snitches get stitches. Finally, with the Winter Olympics having kicked off, Cub visits the gaming district and builds a ski slope that you traverse on a boat. So more of a bobsleigh jump pad, really. It might be all that Boat Bros minigaming he's been doing with False, Wells, and Python. Yes, the Hungry Hermits squad, as it turns out, paid a visit to the Boat Bros game too, Python specifically wanting to playtest and beta run the thing with fresh contestants. It goes exactly as you'd expect it to go. You'd think Team False would do better with the creator of the game on their side, but nope.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, I think.
Wait, you're actually stuck?
I don't know what one I'm stuck on. Maybe I can't fit through that gap. Is that gap too small?
Perhaps Python's mind is on his other creative projects, namely the mansion he's building on the surface near his base. He's thinking ahead with this build, planning to use the textures that have recently been redesigned by Mojang's resident pixel artist. So that means a lot of brick, quartz, and polished diorite. He made a bunch more progress on the Hermitcraft livestream the other day, so check out the VOD on his channel to see where it's all headed. False, meanwhile, no doubt impressed by his building skills, digs out the creek between their bases even deeper just so it's harder to cross. Next thing you know, she'll be pointing cannons across the water. On the brighter side, the mushroom factory is nearly finished, and there's now a mushroom truck. Like a fire truck, except less useful. We'd tell you what noise it makes, but False lost all of her audio for the video she built it in. Still, better than some other spoons we could name. Speaking of which, Mumbo seems to have mysteriously lost 3 villagers from one of the cells of his iron farm, and gained an iron golem. Little does he know, it's just 3 villagers standing on each other's heads. With that mystery completely ignored, Mumbo spots Cub Fan's custom nether tunnel sign and decides to add the gold tooth to complete Cub's biker look. But that's not the only prank he's involved with this week, although he seems to just be an innocent bystander in the convex shenanigans at Iskal's Island.
You don't seem to be making many moves to help, which is fine, I guess.
No, I'm kind of tuckered out. We've been in the sun all day. We've been playing volleyball, and I've had a lot of cake. Kind of full. You don't want to swim with a full stomach of cake. Believe me, you've seen pictures.
Yeah.
Just like the pond here. It's not good.
I mean, I guess.
Still, getting outside of his own base for a bit seems to have inspired him to explore, and he takes an episode to check out a bunch of other hermits' bases, which more or less turns into him just explaining how cool everyone else on the server is. All the exploring wears out his elytra, and he crash lands inside the boundary of his own base, somehow respawning on the set of Is That Sheep Looking at Me? So if you wondered what the collab was with ZF, X and Python, we can make an educated guess, but we actually have no idea because we're writing this way before the videos go up. The next development at Mumbo's base is a potion brewing room below the freshly cleaned up nether portal. Coincidentally, Tango Tech builds one too, over at his place. Now they can exchange recipes and gossip about witchy stuff. Like a giant lava kraken that Tango happened to conjure up in his new What If series that he spends about half his episode chatting about. Joe Hills hasn't released any krakens lately, but he does have an alarming amount of monsters below his castle crypt. The crypt also demands windows based on the original layouts, but Joe has built it a little too deep in the ground, so he'll have to make do with a diorama, possibly involving diorite. The battlements get buttresses and the walls get archery windows, so Castle Ravenloft is looking more and more attackable every day. It might need a giant sign on top of it though, seeing as how iJevin, returning to the server and touring the place for all it's worth, somehow identifies it as Cub Fan's base. Seriously Jevin, watch our show. Impulse SV already has a giant sign on top of his base, but you wouldn't need it anyway because he's clearly the only one crazy enough to do what he's doing. In addition to the champagne flutes he's building around his mob farms, Atlantis gets an enormous outer ring which he fills in with slabs, then covers with grass. We even get an aerial view of this madman at work while he answers some very sane questions about his life and his YouTube channel.
And I decided that I would do a quick Q&A session, and I asked you guys for some questions on the YouTube community page, which is a cool new feature where I can actually kind of post a comment to the sub feed, and you guys can reply there. And you guys came through. You came through for me. You got some good questions, and I'm just gonna go into them.
TFC's life is currently consumed by figuring out what on earth his villagers are doing. Even though they've been moved away from any nearby doors, and he moves in a new farmer to help spread the crops around, they still aren't breeding. Maybe what they need is a holiday to Lake Honk. Especially now that ZF has seemingly finished the Crystal Caves and will be focusing more and more on the lakes surrounding it. The final nail in the Crystal Cave project turned out to be a fine glassy bedroom hidden behind the base's nether portals. So enjoy that wobbly sound while trying to catch some Zeds. There's no jumping sheep for you to count this time, but hey, at least you have Jeremy snoring right beside you.
Your covers, you get brand new sheets, and you're kind of looking forward to sleep. Or not even sleep, you're just looking forward to going and climbing into your brand new, lovely, cozy, warm bed. Look how nice, lovely little nook. Oh, I'm gonna sleep right in the middle.
Stress Monster isn't getting much sleep, as there's still lots of work to be done at the swamp. This week, she does some more terraforming and removes all of the Christmas candy canes, but without those around, she still feels the need to snack on something, so when she adds another house, she makes sure there's a chest with food inside, so she can raid the fridge wherever she goes. Having done some terramorphing of his own, Scar builds a suspension bridge leading to the city, made of quartz slabs, courtesy of him getting lost in the nether for ages. Once he's back though, he spares no suspense.
So let's dive down and take a look at the details. So there was some strange shadow glitches, so I kind of filled this area in a little bit more. And of course, I added some of these trapdoors along there. I think that looks really nice, and I gotta get rid of that. And there's the suspension cables. I think they are absolutely perfect. I have kind of considered doing blue, but we'll kind of think about that a little bit later if we want to.
And finally there's Rendog, freshly bereaved of his latest pet rock. Despite the tragedy, he manages to soldier on and label all 300 and something chests inside his storage drive. This, however, scrambles his brain so much that he starts to believe green is an ingredient of purple. No, seriously. So, willfully ignoring the fact that Bumbo Cactoni is farming cactus in huge quantities right across the bay, Ren designs a cactus farm of his own, and after a few false starts, he has it all worked out. Good luck dyeing anything purple with it though. And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP and my name is Pixel Riffs. I'm back, and in my latest vanilla Minecraft episode I discovered just how many pranks have been dropped on my base while I was away. A link to that is in the end cards. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, subscribe so you won't miss future recaps, and once again there is a link to our public Discord server in the video description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.